Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and welcome back. It's going to be exciting today. I don't know why I didn't think of doing this in previous years, but here we go. We are going to be talking about Christmas, because I've realized it's only 46 days to go. Yikes. And probably you have all yours already in your mind sorted out, and some of you have probably got all your presents and everything done, but for the rest of us, I thought I would do a week-by-week progress report for us so that we could do this together and hopefully minimize some of the stress. So if you're watching for the first time, hi, Jonas, good to see you. If you're watching for the first time, just be aware that what we do is at the front end, we do news, views, and updates. We're like a big family. Hi there, Lizzie. We're like a big family, and we like to know how everybody is doing. And then once we've done that, we get on to the main topic, which today is 46 days to go to Christmas. What I thought was if we all put our Christmas list ideas together, probably we wouldn't have too much worry about that we've forgotten a whole stack of things. So that's why I thought it would be a great idea. And also, for those of you who want to, come back and see it again. I was thinking maybe even I should put it into a... what do you call it, a database sort of thing, so we could put it up online somewhere, and so you could sort of add things to it, so we could have the ultimate Christmas list. That was just my thinking. So for those of you watching on the replay, it's going to say from 00 to this time, hi Jody, from 00 to this time, news, views, and updates, and then from this time onwards, topic of the day, 46 days to Christmas. All right, that's the most important thing. The birthday today is Kim, for those of you who know Kim. It's her birthday today, and she was in the lunchtime broadcast, and we were very pleased to see her. And hi, Sharon, good to see you. And Isabel, good to see you as well. Apparently, I'm not the only one that needs to start thinking about Christmas. Hi, Nana, good to see you as well. So just thoughts and prayers. I know there's been a lot that has gone on recently. We had another negative type thing shooting in the US, and also there was a nasty in Melbourne as well, which Lauren was telling me about. We didn't get much coverage of it because everybody was too busy covering what happened at the very unfortunate shooting in that bar. And so I don't think I didn't hear about the Melbourne one at all. And that was an ISIS attack that went down there, or at least ISIS took credit for it. So I just wanted to say our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody, obviously. And when are we going to stop having thoughts and prayers and start doing something that's going to help this? I don't know. I just wish I had the answer to that. But we can't just keep giving out thoughts and prayers. People are getting killed all over the place. My thinking. All right, so let's move on. Updates. I wanted to give a big shout out to Marie. Marie came onto the broadcast last week. There she is. I mentioned your name, and there you are. So Marie, a big round of applause from me. For those of you who weren't here last week, Marie came on last week and told her truth. Her truth was she was pretty sure she was going to flunk the math exam she had to go into. And what I said, and we were talking about this at the lunchtime broadcast, if any of you missed the lunchtime broadcast, was about it's time to grow up. You know, if we could have all said, oh, don't worry, Marie, you can do it, you know, don't worry, which is like talking to a child. What I said to her was, Marie, if you want to pass this thing, you need to go online. You need to get hold of Khan Academy and check all their examples that they've got there. You need to get on and do every YouTube video you can see that to help you. And if you do enough of it, it will become just normal. Well, big round of applause. She not only did that, she stopped feeling scared and started to do something positive, which was an adult thing. And she passed her exam. I want to tell you, I was so excited when I heard that, Marie. And as I said to Jody in a text a bit later on, you know, it's these little things that make it make it worthwhile broadcasting, in my view. You know, that's That's what gives me the mojo to keep doing it. Liz, in your case, you know, the fact that you went and got to a doctor and discussed the things that are going on with you, you know, I just like, yes, at last, well done, Liz. She needs a big round of applause as well. You know, it's like this whole thing about adult behavior rather than childish behavior. And to me, it's when people do this, it helps the rest of us go, now, where do I need to do this? So big round of applause to both Marie and to Liz. We had, funny enough, Marie, we had somebody come on at lunchtime today who had the same problem, that she was scared of the math thing. And so guess what we said? We know how you fix that. So that is awesome. I'm trying to think, does anybody else have any good news updates? Yes, you're still scared. And you don't have to be brave. You can be an absolute idiot about it if you want to, Liz. If you want to carry on scaring yourself stupid, if you want to imagine the worst, it's all your choice. But I don't think you have to be brave at all. I think you may choose to distract your mind away from thinking about it. I don't know about the rest of you, but to me, it's about, if I have too much time thinking, I can do a big number on myself. And especially as Liz was so correct in saying, especially today, when we can, you know, do all this self-diagnosis via the internet, which really is dangerous because we can scare ourselves absolutely stupid doing that. So, you know, it's fine to be aware of possibilities, but it's not the diagnosis. Do you understand the difference? One is possible knowledge. The other, you know, at least then if the doctor says, well, it could be X, Y, and Z, you go, yep, I read about that. You know, in other words, I know what you're talking about there. So to me, it's like, let's all help each other with this, right? When somebody gets that scared, let's not treat them like a child. Let's make sure we get them going out of child and into some adult behavior, because the last time I checked, everybody that's a viewer these days is an adult, not a child. So we can give them all the compassion and all the kindness in the world, but is that going to help them if they are in overwhelm or in fear? And the answer is probably not. So we're going to really help each other this year. And I was thinking, what is it that, you know, normally that I normally have a problem with around about this time of the year, and it was Christmas. Now, I know that we've got people in the room that love Christmas. And in fact, what I should do here, Jody, is just put on a timestamp here of 8:30. 8.5 minutes. So I am not somebody that does Christmas well. It's always a rush. It's always a problem. And it's, you know, yeah, Nana has already got 2 gifts today, right? So she's on it already. So I know some of you are really good at this and some of us are not. So I'm hoping that between us all, we can come up with the ultimate list. What I do know is that if you are thinking of sending anything for Christmas, we're going to start by talking about mail. If you're thinking about sending anything for Christmas, you need to be heads up right now. A heads up right now because, and I'm going to give you some of the dates in a minute, but it's interesting to see, you know, when these dates are. All right, so Jody's saying, all right, Liz saying she loves Christmas, but she's not working and it's upsetting you. Yes, that's in your head. You can't buy anything. And usually you're done early. I'm going to hopefully, Liz, with these broadcasts that we're going to do on Friday nights, come up with nice presents that we can buy that are not expensive and yet have good impact. And that's part of what it is. You know, are you going to bake instead of, you know, and give a present of baking? Or are you going to, you know, what things can we do? All right, Yes, now Nana's saying she never knows if the kids are coming down or not. And who is going up? We try not to mail them. Okay, so this isn't relevant to you, Nana. All right? This isn't relevant to you. The mail thing, therefore, isn't relevant to you, but it's going to be relevant to a lot of people. What we found out, and I have to thank Jody for this because she did a great job earlier today. For those of you who might be sending to any of the armed forces people, now I know this is going to be about the US ones, but I'm pretty sure that the Canadian ones are pretty close. Right? If you're sending to the Air Force, I mean the military people, it's a really good idea to get it out in a hurry. If you're going to send it by ground transport, quite honestly, it's a good idea to send it now, this week. If you are going to be sending letters and cards to the military, they seem to think that, round about the first week of January would be safe. December would be safe. All right. Yes, can you all help? Yes, good point, Sharon. Can you help me get the Christmas spirit back? And that is exactly why I thought if we all did this together, maybe we could. First of all, Sharon, 'tis the season to be stressed out. What is the correct quote? 'Tis the season to be going insane. 'Tis the season to feel guilty because I don't have enough money. 'Tis the season to be what? 'Tis the season to be. What is that word? The word, as we know, is 'tis the season to be jolly. And to be jolly, what do we need to let go of? We need to let go of the guilt. We need to let go of, I can't buy the present I want to be able to buy. We need to let go of all these things that make it miserable. So what makes us stressed? We don't start soon enough. What makes us angry or upset? We can't do what we want to do. Yes, Sharon, that's a good one. Some of you will be spending your first Christmas without loved ones, but a loved one that you might have had earlier. Right. And, Liz is saying her family is all going through a rough time at the moment. Yes, I want to tell you, it's not just your family, Liz. I haven't seen Ali here, Banana. So this is the idea, right? That I think more people than you know are going through a tough time. So one of the things, yes, Nana's saying she's grateful Rick is here after, what they went through last Christmas. So let's work on this and go, let's do what we need to do to keep the season jolly. All right, so Maria's saying she's not sure she'll make it home for Christmas. I'm feeling a bit homesick. That's in your mind. That's your choice, right? But my boyfriend and I are trying to hash out a 10-hour car ride. Yes, I saw that. To go and see your family. Maybe you'll win the lotto, Liz. Yeah, exactly. And maybe you won't. So the thing is, you are one of the most creative people I know. All right? And therefore, let's start thinking about creative presents that we can make, create, and whatever. That are not going to cost a whole stack of money. Maybe, you can re-gift something that you've got, right? And really wrap it up nicely. And it's the idea. It is not the value, it's the idea. I had one friend of mine who was going through a really hard Christmas. And what amazed me was the one thing she still had was her jewelry. And what she did is she took her jewelry and gave it to her friends. Amazing. I still have it. She gave me a brooch that was really pretty. And it was just like, wow. And what I did is when she started to get back on her feet again, I actually said, I'd like to return this to you because it's yours. And she said, no, I gave it away. It's not mine anymore. Yes, Liz. All right. So, Liz is saying that's true. I made 3 paintings for my boyfriend and he loved them. Yes, it's the thought that counts. The best gift I gave this year, you guys remember that gift where I actually etched something? I etched a casserole dish. I want to tell you, that got the biggest wow factor of anything that I've given this year. I just wanted to tell you, and I got the casserole dish from the dollar store. So, and the etching cream, you can reuse it. So it's a really good idea if you're looking for a cheap gift, Lizzie. Yes, and Nana's saying the same thing. Ali asked for one of her paintings for Christmas. Good. All right, so we're going to be doing the ideas thing. I wasn't planning on doing that today, but let's start it anyway. Beth is saying, I give baskets of cleaning supplies that I gather up when I do her couponing all year. Everybody looks forward to them, and it doesn't cost her much. Good. I was thinking as well, let's give a bit of thought, if we can, to some really creative packaging ideas, because I'm thinking that, how many of us wrap in boxes and the boxes just get thrown away? I'm going to try and wrap things in things that are useful this year. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to try and wrap things in maybe a scarf, or in a casserole dish, for example, or in something that is functional, rather than just the cardboard box that you throw away. Yes, Nana got candy cheap after Halloween, and she can make candy bags for the kids. Great idea. Yes, wrap things up in a tea towel, wrap things up in something, maybe a bath towel. I can remember one Christmas I gave all of my female friends, you probably heard me say this before, I gave all my female friends a really trashy love romantic, type paperback, not an expensive bottle of wine, a bottle of wine, a glass, a candle, and I wrapped it all up in a nice bath towel. And, I literally, it was remarkably easy to put together. But you could put it in a nice basket, one that people can use again afterwards. Makes sense? Yeah. So think about things like that. But first of all, we're going to do mailing, all right? Because what I need you to think about is who, what, why, where, when, and how, all right? You've got to think, first of all, start, for those of, not the people who are really organized, for the rest of us, who is it you want to mail a card to? Who is it you want to give a present to? And get those names down on a list. Who, what do we need? These people need cards only. These people need cards and a present. These people need presents only, whatever it is, right? Who, what, why? Remember, 'tis the season to be jolly, not to be stressed. So Liz, keep thinking, how do I make this fun? I want to tell you, I can do a major amount of shopping in a dollar store if I get creative. And if I really think about the person I'm buying for. Yes, Nana's saying she's already painted her Christmas cards, all right? So who, what, why? They're doing it because it is the season to be jolly, not to be stressed. Who, what, why, where? Where are you going this Christmas? Do you need to get tickets? Do you need to have the car serviced? What else would you need to do? Who, what, why, where, how? How else do you need in travel insurance? All right, so think about that. Where are you going to spend Christmas this year? I have no idea at the moment. Normally, I get invitations and then I have to sort of work out whose turn is it. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going to spend Christmas, but I have to allow for the fact that I probably won't be spending it at home. So who, what, why, where, when? Right. Some of you don't, some of you I, for example, have to think about the fact I'm going down to Benji and the family on the 14th, 15th for December. So any Christmas presents for them need to come with me on that date. Does that make sense? So those are the first Christmas presents I have to think about, is for that family, or else I've got to do a second trip, sort of thing. So in my mind, those are the first ones I'm going to concentrate on. So here's the next thing. Decorations. Now, most people just pull out their decorations every year. And so if that's what you do and you're not making any changes, that isn't an issue. But again, we're going to do another broadcast where we're talking about, what to do with your decorations and so forth. And it's, like the tree. As I said, I think one of the best purchases I ever made, and I made it after Christmas, probably about 10 years ago, is I bought half a tree. They literally just have the front half of the tree. Beth is saying, I got one Happy Meal toy a week from McDonald's, and I put it into a big basket for Lucas. Oh, that's so cute. That's a grandson. So he has a huge tub with a bunch of little stuff, and it's his favorite gift from me. Yes, absolutely. I think that children, you have to think about children. They love to unwrap things. But also, let me ask you something. As a child, how many of you can remember that far back? As a child, what was your favorite gift for Christmas? Yes, and as I was saying, I've got this great tree, but it's only half a tree, so it only takes up half the space. Liz says her favorite gift as a child, funny enough, was pajamas. Really? What a great idea. And Nana's saying her princess phone. Wow, Liz also, that's interesting. I would never have put pajamas on the list, but that's a great one to think of for children. Really great idea, yeah. Now, how many of you waited for the card that included the money? Wow, Jody can remember getting a hand-painted purse with a picture of a Palomino pony on it. Wow. All right, so it's interesting. Yes, we would get them Christmas Eve and wear them for Christmas Day when you opened your stockings. Okay, so that was like a family thing. I can't remember getting PJs every year, but that's interesting. Well, that's awesome. All right. So, that's a good thing to get for people. And by the way, things like Christmas night shirts or whatever, when I say that, it's like, who doesn't, it's useful for anybody. It doesn't have to cost a great deal of money. Wow, Sharon remembers getting a doll that was as tall as she was. And her feet attached to her feet, and she could dance with it. Really? What a great way to teach you how to dance. That is so clever. So Nana's saying, I try to think as a mum, the last thing you can afford at this time of the year is PJs for the kids. So, yeah. So, I mean, I got to think about, think about these things, all right? All right, so Marie's saying her favorite gift was an electric piano her parents gave her when she was 6. Fond, obviously, huge memory for her. So we're going to be talking more about presents, and I'd like you to keep thinking, if you see anything, and just keep a note so we can check back with each other on Fridays. All right, we're going to do this Friday Christmas session on Fridays, just so that we can give each other ideas, so that we can, brainstorm what to do and what to cook. The next thing is what to cook. That was the other thing, right? Food-wise, we need to start planning that now, because otherwise it's going to be too big a hit when it comes to Christmas. So first of all, how many of you like to do Christmas baking? And if you do, start getting the supplies now. It would be my recommendation. And get those cookies baked. I found, I must admit, you made lumpia already. I didn't know that you made lumpia for Christmas. That's interesting. I love to bake cookies for Christmas as well. And, you've probably got your own list of your favorites, but I think I would probably be in big trouble if I didn't cook my shortbread, if I didn't do those chocolate-covered marshmallows that you see me make. Snickerdoodles is a have-to. English mince pies is a have-to. And then I make homemade chocolates. I make my own turtles. And, it's such fun. And so those are some of the things that I'm going to be doing. And quite honestly, Lizzie, because I'm also financially strapped this year, my baking will probably be my main present to most people. Because that in itself is an expense, but that will be it. All right, so Maria is saying oatmeal, butterscotch, and chocolate chip cookies are her family favorite, right? So we've all got our favorites for Christmas. And, did I mention ginger snaps? Yeah, I forgot ginger snaps. Got to add that in there. Hang on a second. Because there's normally a call for those as well. So I just make up, a container for everybody with a couple of these, couple of those, and throw in some turtles. And, what I'm going to do this year is put it probably in a glass container that people can keep afterwards. You can just bake as well, Lizzie. I mean, everybody knows that that you're not in the best shape at the moment. Okay? And if it's about the giving of something, all right, it's actually, Christmas is not about giving. It's about being jolly and being grateful and sharing. So doesn't have to be a lot, Liz. Don't think you've got to cook 65 million cookies either. What I try and do is to try and cook like 1 or 2 cookies a week. All right, so Liz, really important that you get a handle on what you are going to do. Yes, and about spending time with people you enjoy. Exactly. One of the nicest Christmas presents I got, funny enough, were, I don't know why I enjoyed it, and I got it quite recently. Somebody gave me some of those really nice socks, with the running thread underneath it. And I don't know why, I just going, when does anybody give socks anymore? And it was just like, I really needed those. I suffer my feet, I find that my feet get really cool now. I'm getting older and they feel the cold a lot more. Yes, don't shop name brand. Don't look at all the flyers and everything else. Get creative. And you are creative, Liz, and the rest of you. If you like to bake for somebody. Fuzzy socks are I love fuzzy socks. Yeah. And so to me, again, you can get fuzzy socks, Liz, in the dollar store for a couple of bucks. So, it's like, go and see what they've got and go early, right? I tell you that I literally will do all my stocking stuffer shopping creatively like that. Hi, Ty. Good to see you. Yeah, you don't complain about getting socks anymore, right? Because we don't get them very often. So, right. So we've got the Christmas baking in terms of cookies and stuff. And then do you know whether you're going to be cooking at your house, or are you going to somebody else's? There you go, Liz. That's why we're going to talk about these things. Because if we talk about things, people will get other ideas, and hopefully we will share them. Nana says you stuff your stockings. I thought Santa did that. Yep. Maybe you could fill a stocking for your family. Yes, and by the way, Liz, remember that an orange or tangerine, mandarins take up some space. A few nuts take up some space. Think about not just presents, but the stuff that we used to get in the old days. What else went into a Christmas stocking? Some candy goes in. What else can you fill in that are easy to buy and not that expensive? Oh, what do you call it? The candy cans. You can put in lots of little things. Exactly. Toothpaste. A toothbrush actually is a really great idea, because how many of us forget to do that? Jody's saying putting candies, pens, Post-it notes. Yes, who doesn't need Post-it notes? Great ideas, right? Yeah, I know Santa, but we have to give Santa some ideas. Liz says coal for her brothers. Yeah, of course. So what I really am thinking of is, and again, does it have to be a stocking? Again, get creative about what the stocking looks like. Apples, yes. Reindeer poop. What's that? That's the chocolate covered almonds, right? I have a friend of mine, and she does a great thing. She makes up little bags of hot chocolate mix, and ties it with that cellophane stuff. All right, and boy, that's so clever to do that. Or maybe something with different layers of soup mix, or what is the word? Things that you can put together so people can put it in their slow cooker. You did flavor coffee creamers. Yes, one year. How did you do that, Jody? You actually put in a coffee creamer, flavored coffee creamer container? Great thinking, people. Right. Now, Marie is definitely into the spirit of Christmas. She's saying, I honestly think a heartfelt letter of how much you appreciate or love that person you're giving the gift to is a really nice thing. My best friend and I exchange letters instead of gifts since we're far away. I want to tell you something, that one year Yvonne wrote me a book. And it was absolutely a book of all the memories she had of us together up until that stage. And I want to tell you, it just about broke my heart. So a really nice gift, Liz, it's the gift of time, the time it took you to write that. And, you can buy even make a cover, maybe make it into a little book with a cover and a little bit of ribbon on it. And I can see Liz doing that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Jody says there are many recipes online, and I put 4 different flavors into little silo bags. All right. With some marshmallows. Exactly. Hopefully, Liz, we're brightening you up a little bit. I want to tell you, I love that. And, it's like, it wasn't that I drink hot chocolate all the time, but boy, it looks so pretty. I had to literally do that. Another year I got a soup mix like that, which was pretty simple to do. And everybody needs a soup mix in the winter. And it had layers of like dried onion, it had all sorts of dry ingredients, and it was just like, huck that into your slow cooker and make soup. So to me, it's good. By the way, if you're going to invite people for Christmas, think about invites. When are you going to check when is the best time to have that? Because everybody gets so busy. The earlier you can get your invite in, the more likely you are to have people there. So what did I forget? All right, let's go through this list again. The mailing, that's the first thing you have to think about, because everything else revolves around that at this time of the year. If you need Christmas cards, now's a good time to get them. Presents, start buying now. And also think about wrap. And as I said, maybe don't wrap the same way as you normally do. Somebody gave me a Christmas present in a really beautiful Christmas box. And Liz, again, with your talent, you could take a box and, take some dollar store sparkly stuff and turn that into a beautiful looking box. The box I kept. I have no idea what the present was, but I tell you, I still have the box. And every year I fill that box with something, but it doesn't leave my house. It literally is something that I use to give people a present. And I go, the present is inside, but I want the box back. It's mine. And they all laugh because they know I love that box. There are lots of ideas, on Pinterest. So that's what I want to do, Lizzie, is to, think about not spending a load of money. Think about, how do I do this? And, reuse stuff. Right, a timetable of cooking things for Christmas Day or Eve, if hosting a dinner. Yes, that's what I've got, right? I think we need a timetable on all of these, and I'm going to start putting one together for myself. And what about, doing it something like this? All right, this is like a 1 month calendar. And just literally, you could do it you can pick these up pretty easily. But literally that you're going, okay, fine, and get everything on your list and keep just, crossing off the list, because I think this will help you keep on track. And I'm going to be starting one for November, and then this will be the December one. So, and you can do that, there are lots of templates for that online, and I'm certain that we can find one for people who need it. Tyler's saying, I do appreciate the simple things for Christmas nowadays. I don't ever expect anything. When somebody does get me something, I don't expect much. Exactly. I think that is true for all of us. I actually will say to people, please don't spend a whole stack of money, because I can't afford to. But I also understand that some people want to spend a lot of money, and that's their right. Okay. I don't like being told you can't spend more than this. That's control. What I think that for Christmas presents, you should spend what you want to, not what other people expect. I think it's really important. And to do it with love. Don't do this. For example, Lizzie, you could take a box like this, and you could turn this into a beautiful present. You know what I mean? You could decorate it and make it, although it's a Kleenex type box, you could actually wrap it up, paint it or whatever, and put a flap on the top of it and turn it into a beautiful piece of wrapping, if you wanted to, because you are creative. You have that advantage. How much gift wrap gets thrown out at Christmas? All right, so Maria's saying the only people that buy me gifts are my mom and my boyfriend. I don't expect anything from anyone else. I get most excited when I get a Christmas card. I wanted to mention that, Marie, because I think it's a very good point. Again, Lizzie, you can make Christmas cards with just literally get some cardstock at the dollar store, cut it up, make Christmas cards, handmade Christmas cards for people. All right, so Nana says, She doesn't spend money on, we buy bags, all right, and reuse them, yes. And I must admit, I save my tissue paper and I save bags. Whenever I get a bag, I save it. So this is about, but let's say that you don't have bags and tissue paper. Again, think about wrapping things in other things. You have lots of card stock as well. Yes, you can make some cards. Exactly, Lizzie. And people will be so happy. The other thing is, Lizzie, why don't you make some thank you cards for people to send to other people? The thing I wanted to mention is how many cards do we get these days, all right? Everybody sends e-card, not everybody, but so many people now do it the easy way. So if you want to make a gift special to somebody, send them a Christmas card, because we don't get many anymore. It's the thought that counts. Something as simple as a card can go a long way. Yes, it says, I thought of you this Christmas. And that is what I'm saying. So Nana says, oh, this is important. We bought tissue paper for the girls with sparkles. Never again. They unwrap them and we still find sparkles. Yeah, I've got some of that stuff as well. Somebody gave me a present with that stuff in it. Yeah. Right. Lizzie's saying, I love getting Christmas cards. It's always so nice and exciting opening them. All right. So think about, who do you want to send a card to? And when does it need to be mailed by? Now, Marie says she's kept every card she ever got, and they're so special. A book of stamps can be a good gift, right? If you know people that still send things that way. So what I'm trying to say here is, think about how to make this a jolly Christmas. Liz, if you can see that spending your time to make a present, handmade present for somebody, is probably the best gift you can give them, because it says you cared enough to make them a gift. And you can do that with love, which is what it's all about. And you can do that with, joy in the giving. That is exactly what Christmas is meant to be about. Some of you may bake a pie for somebody. All right. Some of you may just, I say just bake cookies. Some of you may bake cookies. And by the way, that takes a lot of time. Believe me, I know. All right. So Sharon's saying she buys boxes, bags, paper, etc. after Christmas when they're 75% off. And sometimes gifts too. But that's a bit late if you didn't do it earlier in the year. I have to tell you, the best Christmas wrapping I have ever bought is, hang on, let me get it. Hold on a second. All right, you can probably see this. This is high gloss, thick wrapping paper from Uline, and a roll of it, a complete roll of it, costs, I think it cost me close to $100. Now, that's a lot of money. But I want to tell you that this roll I've already used for probably 3 years, 4 years maybe. That's how much paper there is here. I also buy, it's heavy. I also buy one in silver or gold. This is some leftover from the gold one. And what I found is that all my presents during the year can normally be wrapped in red or silver. If it's for a wedding, I'll wrap it in silver. If it's a birthday present, I can wrap it in red as well. But it's high quality paper and it doesn't rip. And I want to tell you that for the amount of money, I have people unwrap my presents and they refuse to rip them. Do you know what I mean? They refuse to rip that paper because it looks that good, and it is. But they literally, cut the Scotch tape, you can see them going, I can use this again. And you can, because it is good quality wrapping paper. So sometimes the cheapest isn't the best to get, in my view. But what I found is I now, that's how I buy wrapping paper now. And I learned the hard way. And I only started doing that probably 5-10 years ago. And I'm so happy because I always have wrapping paper at home. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space. And I want to tell you that it also looks great under my tree when all the presents are in the same color. And now then, listen to this. Beth is saying, save the comic section from the paper every week for wrapping the kids' paper. Good idea for wrapping kids' presents. They love looking at the cartoons on it. What a brilliant idea. What a brilliant idea, Beth. And who doesn't have a kid inside them, right? Very clever. Now then, can we think about things you could use? Yes, if you got girls that you're wrapping things for, then ribbon. They'll reuse the ribbon, or a scarf with hair ties together. To hold it together. Stuff that is useful to them. This is awesome thinking, people. So what I'm hoping is that on Friday evenings, that people will say, I'm really stuck. I need a present for, a 50-year-old, and that we can start sort of giving ideas. Or, did you know that you can go to Home Depot and buy shoe boxes for less than $1 each? And they're actually in the section for closet organizers. But that is a big container for $1. And Liz, you could buy that and paint it. All right? I think that idea of using the comic section for wrapping kids' presents is brilliant. Of course, the ink comes off on your hands, but that's true. Yeah, you see, Liz, and then if you actually painted it with house paint, which you can pick up for next to nothing, then you don't have to worry about wrapping. I collect boxes all year. The best. Do you know anybody that's in business, Liz? Because what I love to do is to get an office place and just ask them, please, 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 can I have your envelope boxes? Envelope boxes are the greatest boxes to wrap presents in. Hang on a sec. So if you know anybody that's in business, one of these, great for wrapping, for giving presents. And as I said, if you just want to throw some house paint on there, awesome. What's appropriate gift for a coworker? It depends what the coworker likes. You know what I mean? I would say a mug is always, how many of you have still got a mug that a coworker gave you? If you know that your coworker is into, German Shepherds, then get a mug with a German Shepherd on it. It could be the best present she got. Yes, a gift card from, a $5 gift card from a donut shop. Great idea. Or, Starbucks or whatever. Or the actual coffee itself. That's a good idea, yeah. Exactly. Liz is saying she gave nail polish to her co-worker with some candy and a cute Kate Spade mug in a box. All from the dollar store. You see, it doesn't have to cost a lot, and it shows that you cared. If somebody likes gardening, go to the dollar store, pick up some gardening stuff for not a whole lot of money, and maybe wrap it in a gardening, what do you call it? Smock or something, an overall, or so, or what else could you have? There's just so many things, or even some netting, that's useful for a gardener, that black netting stuff. Put it all and tie it together with string, because string's always useful for a gardener. All right, Maria is saying that she got hand lotion and nail polish and some candy from her mom when I worked at from her mother when I worked at Montessori. Such a sweet, thoughtful gift, right? Hand lotion, nail polish, and candy. So, it's about the idea. And you can put the nail polish and the candy into a mug. When you think about it, get a mug and right, Liz is saying she once made up a basket of cooking supplies, pasta, sauce, a cookbook, and a cheap bottle of wine. Exactly. Unscented hand lotion is a great idea. Yes, because we don't know who's allergic to the perfumes. Very good point. And who doesn't need hand lotion? I like to think about these things. What do people use all the time? All right. Who doesn't want a nice bath wash, right? Things that who doesn't want, let's think of some other things. Well, what are the things that we use? Who doesn't use moisturizer? You know what I'm saying? Just think about what you use. All right, so Maria's saying they have some cute fall stuff on sale at Walmart at the moment, right? So not a bad idea. The other thing, Liz, I can see you getting a cheap wreath at the dollar store and making up a wreath for somebody's front door. Hi, Lauren. All right, so Lauren is giving her biological father and paternal grandparents a photo album with photos of all the occasions they've missed in the last 30 years. What a thoughtful gift. Very thoughtful. Let me tell you what a friend of mine does for her people she cares about. She actually gives them a little book of IOUs in it. And, for example, it'll say, I owe you a trip to the movies. Cash it in anytime. Give me a week's warning. I owe you dinner. And it has all sorts of little coupons in it. And I think that's such a clever idea. So during the year, you get to enjoy Christmas. Doesn't actually cost her any money at Christmas time. Think about that, Lizzie. But during the year, you get to go to the movies with her, or you get to go for dinner, or, it'll be a picnic in the park. Yeah, Tyler's going to give out a mug with his face on it. My mug on a mug. All right, so Maria's saying one thing I asked my mom to make for Christmas is a copy of our baby tape, which is filled with memories from my childhood, from birth until I was 5. Yeah. So Hi, Amel. Good to see you. Amel, you remember I was telling you about Marie taking that math exam? She passed. So if you want to ask her what she did, be my guest. And Marie, Amel is the one that's worried about taking a math test. Now, Amel, you're in North Africa, right? I hope I've got the right person. By the way, for those of you who follow December, although it hasn't been officially announced yet, I'm not quite sure why, but I'm not going to worry about that. It's going to be the night of the December the 14th into the 15th, just for those of you who like to be there for that. So to me, this is about, 'tis the season to be jolly. Let's make this year the least stressful we can by starting it now and working together with ideas. We're keeping people calm, keeping people aware that, of the right mindset. So can you see how much damage we do in our minds when we think, I don't have enough money to do this. I don't have enough money to do Christmas this year. But guess what? I'm going to do it. I'm also thinking, I don't know if this makes sense to anybody, I'm actually about to go down and take some of my jackets and coats out of my downstairs closet. And instead of giving them to the Goodwill, I'm going to go and find some homeless people and give them my coats. All right, so Amel, have you got Google Translate, Amel? If you just type Google Translate into your browser, it'll be able to translate it into English. Yes, now Lauren went online and she bought most of her presents in one fell swoop. But the thing is, your presents are done. That is something else. Yeah, Amel, she's trying to find out whether you're doing this for a class or whether it's for some sort of license. Okay, it's for your senior year in high school. Okay. So, did you get a chance to look at Khan Academy? You know, Lauren, there's a lot to be said to just spend one evening online and buy something, for those that can afford to do that, buy something for everybody you know and know that your shopping is done. There's a lot to be said for that. It's an amazing website. That's why I told you about it, Marie. Yeah, it'll explain all sorts of math and break it down step by step with video. Amel, if you haven't got there yet. Right, and that means that you've got now until Christmas to wrap everything. And everything's sorted. That one person that you, by the way, for everybody, I recommend that you always have some, maybe 2 or 3 presents that are presents you can give to anybody. Maybe baking, for example, because there's always going to be that person you run into. All right, that you want to give something to. Yeah. So hopefully it'll arrive by Christmas. If you got it at the usual places, I'm sure it will. Yeah. So what I really wanted to do is make sure that we start talking about it now and keep encouraging each other. So let me ask you, what is your goal for this week? All right. And I'm going to keep track of it so we can see how you did. My goal is to sort out the presents that I'm going to take down to the Travis family. So Sal. So I can take them down with me for December. That is my number one goal. And the second one is to start making Christmas cards because I want to send them. And I'm going to make Christmas cards out of my artwork. But what I want to do is to cut out Christmas shapes for the front of the card. So in other words, the Christmas tree will have my artwork. You know, the shape will be of a Christmas tree, but it'll have my artwork in it. Makes sense? So cards I want to start making. And what else do I want? Anybody else want to be accountable here? I'm going to keep track so we can encourage each other. I also am going to have my master list done as far as I can. All right. Am I the only one prepared to commit? Okay. Oh, what else can I do? Start working on a baking list and make sure I've got everything. All right. Has this helped anybody? And how many of you Okay, so Marie is going to work on cleaning the house. Okay. That's good, because that's something we didn't have on the list. Good idea. Cleaning. Yikes. All right, anybody else? And what we'll do is next week we'll find out how you're doing. I've got some cards that have to go off by the beginning of December. Amel, I want to tell you something. I think that is not always true. I can drink coffee and still sleep like an absolute lamb sometimes. I think it's what else is going on in your mind that stops you from sleeping. You know, if you're worried about exams and things like that, that's more likely to keep you awake than the coffee. That's my experience. Has anybody else found that? People say, oh, I can't drink coffee now. Occasionally, I actually drink coffee in the early evening, and I sleep fine. When I don't sleep is when my mind is racing. Okay, so does anybody need any more ideas about Christmas presents or anything? Okay, that's Marie is in. So I'm hoping that you are reminded that this is not about the season to be stressed. This is not the time All right, so Liz is asking, does anyone know if I want to donate to an animal shelter, will they take dog, cat collars and leashes? I think they will take, yes. I'm actually doing a big grab bag of dog stuff that left over from Bean Bean. And I'm going to put it all in a big thing and take it to the local stuff. Yeah. I've got a feeling that they are normally grateful for anything they don't have to buy. Now, whether it has to be new or not, I don't know. I would think not. I think they'd probably just enjoy being able to give the dogs a toy. The way to find out is to phone them, Liz. Or drop them an email. All right. But do they have to be new, Marie? That's what I don't know. Or do they take leftover food? They're brand new, I would say absolutely yes, Liz. Absolutely yes. And I wouldn't even think twice about it. Boy, wouldn't that make you feel good for Christmas to be able to do that? New or gently used, all right? In other words, Bean never got to them. All right, that tells me everything I need to know. Has to be new food. That's what I would have thought. Yes, unopened bags, not open bags. So Liz, a great idea. The other thing is, Liz, I want you to think about something. When I go and speak at some places, they will give me a card and it says on the card, in thanks of your visit, we have donated books to the old age home or whatever. You know, this Rotary does this a lot. In other words, what they do is they don't give you the present, they give it to somebody else. So you might sort of spend your sort of Christmas time going from shelter to shelter, you know, to give a couple to each shelter. You know what I mean? It would make you say, by the way, pick up a puppy while you're there. I don't know if any of you agree with me, but boy, you know, it's pretty difficult to be depressed when you've got a puppy. Yes, absolutely. I think it's a great idea to do that, Lizzie. I think you need a puppy. I really do. Unconditional love. You deserve some of it. Non-judgmental. Somebody pleased to see you every time you move, you know. Oh, and Mel's so excited for December. Why? Yeah. Don't give away all the collars and leashes because you're going to probably need one for your puppy. Or why don't you do that, Lizzie? Think about that. In lieu of giving you a present this year, I bought myself a puppy. I think everybody would totally get that. Right? Do you know what I mean? It was just like, you know, I just have a little, I'd make up a thing that I put inside a card. You know, in lieu of buying you a useless present, I bought myself a puppy. I bet you people will be so amused by that. But spend the time on the card, you know, make a really nice card. You know, it's you love it, Johnson, because it's helping the needy people. Yes, and I'm certain that you're going to enjoy. All right, now Liz, here is my reality. Right, you want to wait until you find out what's happening with you before you do that. Yeah, and then you'll have another excuse. And then once that excuse is used up, you're going to have another excuse. What I did when I got Bean, I wasn't sure whether I would outlive Bean. And so what I did was I made sure that I had somebody ready to look after Bean if anything happened to me. And that's how I did it. In other words, I had a plan B for Bean. So just think about it, Liz. You know, I understand your thinking because but the thing is, how long is it going to take you to find out? What if it takes a year? What if it takes 2 years? Right? Give yourself that gift for Christmas. I want to tell you something. You deserve it. Yeah, so we can all make the excuses. And I'm very seriously thinking about doing that for myself this year as well, Liz. To say to people, I was going to buy you a present, but I got a puppy instead. Yeah. So, Emil, yes, you want one, but your mom doesn't have animals in the house. Okay. So here's the thing: that you'll get one when you get to be self-sufficient. You know, if you're still living at home, you have to play by home rules. I understand that totally. Yeah. You need if I need a collar, you mean, or my puppy needs a collar. Yeah. I'm going to do it. I'm really seriously thinking of doing it because I think that in a way, even though I'm planning to move out of this house within the next little while, I still think I need that distraction. So, like I haven't got enough on my plate. But you know something? Hi, Erin. I'm sorry to hear you dealing with the flu, honey. Thank you for the update. I really appreciate that. We've been talking about getting ready for Christmas, so maybe you can listen to it later. Well, I just think that a lot of people would be, you know, I will probably wait until after December because I'm going to be away. But after that, somewhere between there and Christmas, I think I would like to get myself a puppy. And I know everybody I know, if I said, listen, I was going to buy you a present, but I got a puppy instead, they'd all burst out laughing and say, good thinking. Yeah. So, and that's another thing that I really recommend. I don't know about the rest of you, but I have my only credit card is a Visa. And what I do is I save up points on my Visa, and then every couple of years I will buy myself a present for myself on my Visa points. And this year I've managed, I haven't bought anything for a couple of years. And I normally try and buy a gizmo of some sort, you know, like a new coffee maker or a, you know, some sort of gizmo that I normally wouldn't get for myself, but because I've got the points, I can. Of course, you didn't know this, Marie, but when I had my big cross German Shepherd, Bean, he used to come to the broadcasts when he used to literally come and put his face right up to the camera because he knew there were people in there because they talked to him. And it was the funniest thing. Yes, and you know something, I understand that you don't celebrate Christmas, but I believe that, you know, it's all in the spirit of the season. Liz can remember being on the broadcast, right? And I can remember doing one Christmas, I need to find it. I was doing one Christmas broadcast sort of around Christmas time, and he kept getting his face into the camera. And it was, and I was trying to talk about something quite serious, and Bean kept going, who is that in there? Actually, what I will do, for those of you who haven't seen them, I've got a playlist of Bean. He just wanted to say hello to everyone. And how many times did he come over my shoulder? If I was on my bed broadcasting, he'd come and, put his head on my shoulder and stare at the viewers. I've actually got a playlist. I should put it up for you guys. In other words, I'll put the link so that you can see it. And then, do you remember that one with when Juliana came to visit, when she was just a baby, and he bought all his toys for her? Oh, he was hysterically funny, Marie. And unfortunately, he only lived for 8 years, but he was so amusing. And that's why I think it would be good for Liz, because puppies and do make you laugh, and Bean especially. Yeah, I'll put the link up because there was this first time that Juliana ever came to my house. And I'm pretty sure... yeah, that's right. Joe was 13, right? I'm pretty sure that they were a little bit scared about Bean because here was this great German Shepherd thing, and all Bean could do was bring her his toys. It was like, hey, look what I've got for you, and he'd bring her a toy and then wait for her to throw it for him, and then he'd go and get another one and he'd bring it to her. Bean was such a silly puppy, always wanting to be part of everything. You're right, Aaron. And you see, he still makes me laugh right now. He was really the funniest dog. So, to me, this is like, I would wish that for Liz. Lizzie, you deserve that unconditional love. There were times... I'm certain you can all imagine this. Bean was over 5 foot from top of the end of his tail to his nose, over 5 foot long. And, the number of nights I woke up, and it was like I was scrunched up on my bed in a corner, and Bean was totally stretched out from one corner of my bed to the opposite corner with his tail. And I'm going, why am I scrunched up like this and my dog is looking that comfortable? And, I just go, because it's Bean. Why dogs can't sleep the same way as humans, I don't know. But apparently they need to sleep across the bed, not up and down the bed. So, yeah, Liz, you deserve a dog, I think, really. It's the best, it would be the best medicine for you. Okay, so Nana says no dog on a bed, right? And that some people do that, right? And that's fine. I just, to me, I'm not that way, but, I understand people that don't allow dogs in the bedroom, and I understand that totally. Bean was never allowed in my dining room, which does not have a door to it, never allowed in my dining room if I was eating in the dining room. And that was an interesting thing. People used to say, how did you train him to do that? I said, he just wasn't allowed in the dining room when we're eating. And therefore, he never begged for food because he knew he had to wait until people had finished eating before. Yeah, dogs are such bed hogs. I quite agree. Yeah, you can call your dog Tyler or Tyler Bell. That's a nice name. Oh, so little Joe slept with Rick. Okay, there you go. Yeah, Taylor has the run of the place. Taylor runs your house. There's no doubt about that. So what is your favorite animal? Amel is asking, cat or dog, right? Nana's saying little Joe was only 9 pounds. Well, Bean was only 85. 90, I think. So you understand kicking him off the bed wasn't easy. It required a great deal of effort. And you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed how stubborn he could be when he knew I was trying to kick him off the bed. I think he used to just put his claws in like this and go, no, I'm not going anywhere. And then, I don't know if any of you have had a dog, you know this one, it's the look. What are you think you're doing here? So, right, so when little Joe was blind, he didn't go on the bed. Yes, that would make sense to me, Nana, probably for fear of when he was going to, maybe fall off. That's it. And he was such a cute dog, too. I remember him. So I'm a great one for believing we should buy ourselves a Christmas present. And how many of you do that? How many of you buy yourself a Christmas present? Yeah, Marie, Bean used to be really good at that. I think you need your own dog. Yes, Erin's saying she can't wait to have dogs again. We've already decided, and then when we get our house, we're going to get dogs. We already know the type. What sort of dog, Erin? You already know the type. That's interesting. Okay, so Nana says, Brick buys her presents, Benji tells him what to buy. I think that's cute. So Tyler says, even his cat is a giant bed hog. Yes, I think they're very good. Jody says, yes, she buys herself a gift. And your Christmas present to yourself, Marie, was your exam. Well done. Actually, Lauren did a great thing. Is Lauren still in the room? If so, Lauren, I'd like to tell the story about what happened with your course, because I think that's so interesting. And unfortunately, I can't see who is in the room to be able to do that. Oh, Nana wants a Maltese. Yes, they're cute. So I'm pretty sure that Lauren would give me the okay if she were here. But here is the thing. Lauren was doing a course and she suddenly scared herself a little bit doing it. And she decided that she was going to quit it so she didn't have to keep paying for it and so forth. And the interesting thing was that this particular place where she was taking this course didn't allow you to drop out halfway through. You still had to keep paying for the whole course. And I thought that was really interesting. And because of that, Lauren is going to continue the course and get the qualification. And I said to her today, there'll probably be a time when you've got that qualification that you need to write to these people and thank them for not allowing you to quit. If you quit, you lose the money. You still have to pay for the whole course. Yes, Marie, you spent $150 on an exam, but you passed. Boy, was that a good use of your $150. Well done. And that's the whole thing, with Lauren's course, it's like, I think that's very clever. You've still got to pay the whole course, even if you decide to quit halfway through. I think they should do that for more people, because that certainly doesn't make any sense about quitting. Why would you quit when that's the reality? You still got to pay for the whole course. And guess what? Lauren's just buckling down and going back to work on the course. So I'm very, very happy. I think that's a great system. Right. Is there anything else anybody wants to add to this? Well, she did pass it. Marie did pass it. How do you go back to using your name on here? Nana, would imagine it would be in the settings of your YouTube, I think. Let me, Nana, if you look at the screen, yeah, ask her. Yeah, good, because she can talk you through it. Good idea. So she wants a Yorkie, and she wants a French Bulldog, and then we want a German Shepherd mix. Yeah, I must admit, a German Shepherd mix is, you need people who know what they're doing with German Shepherds, right? Because they need to be well trained. In fact, any dog needs to be well trained, in my view. There's nothing worse than a dog that thinks it's the owner of the house. That's just from my experience. So, and the reason that most dogs get like that is because the owners treat them like babies, not like dogs. And you can love a dog to pieces. As you know, I loved Bean to pieces, but he knew the house rules. He knew what he was allowed to do, what he wasn't allowed to do. I could leave food on a plate at his level and he wouldn't dare touch it. Wouldn't dare touch it. It just was like he knew not to touch my food, wherever it was. If I left a plate on my bed and he was on the bed, you better not touch that. And what I do is I just watch him from behind somewhere. And every time he so much as thought about it, you could see him sort of go, I wonder. And I just go, no. And he goes, okay, fine. I wasn't really thinking about it. Yeah. And you know something, Jody, that the interesting thing is that you could change that behavior tomorrow. Dogs live in the moment. They don't have memories, right? They don't live in the past. Well, that's not altogether true, but yeah, but one thing a dog trainer said to me, that you can take any dog of any age and retrain it. It actually is about people training, not about dog training. Right, Marie, and you're quite right, all right? You treat Teddy like a baby, but he knows the rules. No human food and no begging. Yep. And it's a big excuse, Jody, that people say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, how many rescue dogs have I taken from the pound and taught them manners? Right? The first thing I teach them is manners. I don't care how old they are. The first thing you learn when you visit my home is manners. Right. And Marie's saying he's never heard of human food except for the few times they were given to him, like a carrot or a sliver of chicken. I want to tell you, Bean had people food, but he never had it from the table. He knew that when I went to clear the plates, the tail would be going like this, because my route was to go from the table to his dish. However, he wasn't allowed to go near the dish until I told him, right? There's no crowding the dish, so I can't get food in there. Yeah, you know something, Beth, I know. I've always said that dogs are much easier to train than men. Yes, I totally agree with you. Yeah, you rescued Teddy at 3 years old and you trained him to be a good dog. That's right. You see, most people will just say, you can't teach old dogs new tricks. You certainly can. Absolutely. All you need to do is to be consistent. This is like, okay, you got away with that yesterday. Today, the rules change. And I want to say I'm sorry about this, that I didn't start like this. But no, you do not beg. Now go and lie down. And just every time the dog starts to beg, you go, no. And if necessary, take the dog to where you want him to go. Now, if it's go and lie on his mat or in his cage or wherever you have him. Beth, the only reason your dog stares you down is because it works. If Bean tried to stare me down for food, yeah, he's old, so I give him what he wants, all right? That's your excuse. So, if Bean tried to stare me down for food, he knew not to do that. Patience and consistency are the keys to success. I quite agree. It's the consistency. Like, you do not get any food in the dining room. End of story. Or you do not ever eat off my plate. You eat off your own plate. So, you know, it's about, it's the same with children. Oh, of course, Aaron, I forgot, right? You're well aware of the German Shepherd story, yeah. And you're a Keter, yes. You're a Keter mix, that's right. Yes, and the funny thing is that I would literally, Bean wasn't stupid, right? Bean was not stupid. He'd wait for me to go into the kitchen or into the washroom, and then he knew he'd probably have a pretty good chance with the people that were at my dining room table. And sometimes I'd come back and find him in the dining room with his head on their, you know, on their knees, like, hello. And boy, did he run fast when he heard me coming. Yes, sometimes, you know, Marie's dog goes to eat while they eat. That's beautiful. So, you know, it's like people tell me they got badly behaved kids. No. Well, what they've got is parents that didn't do their job. So, well, it's a difficult one for a lot of people. But I would say this, that I know that if you are somebody that deserves unconditional love, and I think most people do, then getting a dog is a great idea. I understand that some people have cats and they get that same thing. I don't get the same thing from a cat myself. How do you get a dog to understand when you tell him to sit down? Is that what you're asking me, Amel? It's actually more simple than you think. Okay, so, all right, pretend this is your dog, all right? Just tell him to sit in your language, whatever, and then just literally put a little bit of weight on his back until he sits. And when he sits, you go, good dog, good sit. Yes, and give him a lot of praise for doing that. And then let him stand up again, and then you go, doggy, sit. And just put a little bit of pressure until he sits. And you go, good dog, good sit. Okay? And just keep rewarding the good behavior. And then once he's got that down, you'll just be able to stand next to him and go, sit, and maybe just put a finger there. And he'll go, oh yeah, I got to sit. And just keep doing that. Be consistent. I always trained my dogs before I fed them. And what I do is I give them little bits of kibbles or treats. Honey-covered ham works really well. Well, it did for Bean anyway. Yeah, I tried not to do too much with food, but what I did was I carried good, you know, like bacon or cheese with me. And I didn't give him the treats all the time because I didn't want him to do it just for the treat. I wanted him to do it and know that he would get rewarded somewhere along the line. Yes, Beth. Beth is saying that her dog notices her anxiety or when she's having issues with her disorder, and you know, that he can pick up on it. That is quite normal. And you know, how many dogs have they got now that can sniff out cancer? Quite, you know, you'll be amazed how many dogs now can actually, they've trained them to sniff cancer. They can actually tell when somebody's got cancer. So, yes, Jodie's saying that her little fluffball Taily loves fresh fruit and vegetables so much. And, you know, so, you know, baby carrots or whatever else, don't give them grapes. That's the one thing you need to be really careful of. There's something else. I think tomatoes is the other one, right? Don't give grapes. Grapes cause kidney problems in dogs. And chocolate, obviously, don't give chocolate. Yeah, she has multiple sclerosis. And Beth, what brings on the issues for you? Is it high stress? When I say the issues, but you're coping day to day, and then every now and then you will get your slurred speech and stuff. I just wondered what brings that on. High stress. Okay, so again, apropos of the congratulations on the new job offer, by the way, think about that very carefully, all right? The amount of stress you want to put yourself under. And of course, anybody would want you. You're, the ideal employee. I understand that. You stutter when you can't find the correct words. Yes, because your brain is going in different ways. Yeah. But you do an incredible job. I want to tell you, Beth, yes, we were talking, I don't know if you heard about it, but we were thanking you at lunchtime, big time, about what you taught us about protein and also about the meal prep. I cannot tell you how much tidier my fridge looks these days. Yeah, Nana's saying that her dog would sleep in her room all day long when she was sick. Yeah, I want you to look after you. Listen to this. Marie says, Teddy is a comfort dog for me. When I have my night terrors, I will wake up with a start and he will come right over and lay on her chest. Isn't that beautiful? Well, you know something, Beth, you probably didn't ever think that we would take notice of what you were saying. But both Jody and I are now prepping our food. Thank you very much indeed. And I literally, I'm changing things up. In other words, I'm now still having some rice. I had some rice today, but it was half white rice and half brown. You see, you didn't think you mattered to anyone. Well, yeah, hello. It just took us a bit longer to get to the point where we're willing to try it. And I really want to thank you because I have found with the meal prep, Beth, I hate to admit this, but it is truthful. I am eating more, but less. I'm eating more, but less calories. And, whereas before I would, make something and think I was regular, I'm doing a lot of measuring in terms of the amount of food. When I say measuring, I go, I know this isn't good for me, so I'm only going to have a quarter of a cup or an eighth of a cup, just for the taste. And I've actually amazed how many changes I've made that really work for me. And I keep going, yeah, where's your protein? Where's your protein? And I made some little mini omelets, and I did take video of that, and I was going to edit that. And yes, what I'm looking for is making the changes in that direction. I'm not doing all or nothing. I'm just going, okay, fine. For example, I have somebody gave me a loaf of sourdough bread. Now I'm not going to not eat it. I've just cut it up and I've frozen it. And I'm just, every week I allow myself, I make 3 sandwiches and I cut them in half. And they go half a sandwich every day. I really got this down to a fine art. Yeah, I don't want to do the guilt thing. I want to enjoy the process. And what I find as well, Beth, is that, you get, where you gave me the magical words when you said that you got the protein boxes from Starbucks. That's what really triggered me. And I just typed in Starbucks protein boxes, and then I got them. it showed me exactly what they put in them. And I went, I can do that. I can do that. And I started putting together, so, by the way, I would never have put peanut butter and honey together as a dip. How did I live a lifetime without knowing that taste? That is such a great dip. It's like, how did I not know that? Wow, Amel had a bad memory with a dog. Wow, he chased you down. He tried to attack you. You know, that's really sad when that happens. And how old were you when that happened? Yeah, Beth, you know something? It was quite surprising. You probably don't believe this knowing me the way that you do, but today I have my half sandwich. And what amazed me was I actually didn't eat the bread. And then I realized it was Friday and I hadn't had any breakfast. And so I did actually eventually have the bread, but I put some Marmite on it and had it. And I went, wow, that's interesting that without even thinking, I didn't eat the bread. I ate everything else in that box except the bread. And then later I thought about it and I thought, you know something, I think I should eat that. I haven't had any breakfast. Right. If you've been attacked by a dog, then obviously that is a traumatic experience and you will remember it. And you will be scared of dogs most of the time. But it's interesting, Marie, that you now still have a dog. I can remember when I first brought Bud, who was before Bean, when I first brought Bud to this house, I didn't know that he did it, but he actually went downstairs on the outside of the house and he quietly opened Yvonne's patio door. Now, Yvonne was terrified of big dogs. And Bud was a cross German Shepherd collie. So not only was he big, he was really hairy. And what he did was he just literally, her patio door was open about this much. And he just very quietly moved the door. Yeah, because he had that strength to do that. And she was apparently in the bathroom and he got into the house and he just went, you know, at Yvonne's level, he went, okay, this is nice. So he lay down. So she comes out of the bathroom and suddenly there is this dirty great German Shepherd lying fast asleep sort of thing in her apartment. And she didn't know what to do because she didn't want to wake him up. It was the funniest thing. And of course, he just totally loved her to bits. And she ended up being the greatest dog lover. You were stepped on by a horse. Yes, I've had that happen many times. Broke your toe. Right. And you got back on again. Yes. After yes. And that's the whole thing. I've fallen off a number of horses. I had a horse roll over me once. It was pretty painful. Hi, Niasha. How are things in Trinidad and Tobago? I think. How are you doing? We've been talking, getting ready for Christmas and pets. So we have very literally just a few weeks left until Christmas. And my whole goal now is to literally set up a schedule and start doing stuff. At least one day a week is going to be Christmas stuff. When I say one day, I don't mean the whole day, but, you know, where I literally go out and get presents, or I go out and, you know, do something related to getting ready for Christmas. I do not want to be all stressed out this year, or I'm going to spend time going down, getting the Christmas tree up. Last year, I didn't even bother to bring the Christmas tree up. How silly was that? So I want to get back into a little bit of that spirit this year. Either that, or there's part of me that goes, maybe I should just book a cruise and go on a cruise for Christmas. You know what I mean? Let somebody else do the decorating. Niesha, I appreciate the fact you're apologizing for missing a few of the broadcasts, but you know something? The main thing is you know that we're going to be here. Yes, Beth is saying that she's working on Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day. Wow. Or Black Friday, right? And Black Friday. Early Black Friday. Okay, so you're right. You know, you can dread it or you can just take it at your own speed. It's going to be busy, you know that. And how whether that makes you stressed out or not is up to you. Yeah, be careful of the box cutters. I quite agree, Jody. We know Beth and the box cutters. You know, I need you to get blinkers so you can only watch the box cutters. Well, Amel, that is so cute to hear. And for those of you on the replay, Amel is saying, I really feel comfortable when I speak here and connect with you guys. We're like a family. Thanks, Mama Sal. Don't thank me. We're like a family because of everybody in here, including you, Amel. And, you know, you'll notice over time that the people change, but the core normally stays the same. And that's what we do, right? We are like an extended family. And hopefully it's the family that you wanted, not necessarily the one that you got. And that we do try to support one another, and we do try to understand that we each go through good days and bad days, and that's okay. And I think it's really important. And by the way, Amel, seeing as you're a December viewer, I will be there this year. Right? You're going to see me this year. Beth says, I tell my husband, find something else to do, Sal's on. You know, it was, I was really sad that last year I just wasn't well enough, Amel. I could have forced myself, but I would have been worse off had I done it. And I just decided that I needed to look after me last year, but I could still do the work. All right, I still did the December thing, but I just didn't want to be on show. I wasn't doing well. I wasn't feeling well. But, you know, I will, as long as I breathe air and as long as they still invite me, I will be there to do my job. And, you know, whether it's really important to me. And it was funny because when I was down with Benji last week, he said to me, what job do you want to do? And I said, my job. Like, you know, I know my job. Even if you don't, I do my job. So what kind? Okay, Tyler, great to see you, honey. And did they finish the count in Montana? My job is to talk nonstop online to all the viewers that may not necessarily be interested in what's going on in camera. It's very difficult to explain that to people. So what I do is I type for 24 hours. It's an amazing thing. Well, I do take breaks to go to the washroom, I must admit, and occasionally I go and eat. But mostly I type almost nonstop. And in fact, it's really quite funny, Amel, because I've had other people Like even the people from YouTube said to me, how do you do that at that speed? That, you know, because the chat is just rolling like this. And I am literally going, hi, ML from, from Tunisia or whatever. And they're going, how did you do that? And I go, well, it's, so-and-so, and I know where they are. And they go, but how did you see it and able to respond? Because I don't just say hello. Yeah, anyone can join in on the chat. And by the way, the DearMamaSal viewers, I normally use you. If you're going to be there, I will delegate things, because what happens, Beth, is that, a lot of people ask the same question all the time. And so what I do is I will get my regulars. I get my regulars to help me with that. In other words, I'll say to Jody, if anybody asks about how I'm related to Benji, please, cut and paste this every time. And I know we're doing it differently this year, Amel. Yes, Jody is the mother hen. She will keep checking in on, she watches whether I'm drinking enough, and she will make sure that I eat. Of course, I have to be careful, Amel, because I have an allergy. And, it's amazing that everybody brings food, but you'll be amazed how much of the food that people bring has garlic in it. So I have to be really, really careful. And, I have to thank Benji's dad, because he's very clever with looking after you. Well, that's what I do, is that two things. First of all, Benji will always be aware, and he'll say to me, what do I need in the fridge for you? And he knows, I will survive on, bread and cheese. Literally, I can survive on that. I drink not a lot of coffee, funny enough. I normally start with coffee, because you need that much energy at the beginning. But I will probably spend 3/4 of the time drinking water. And this year, I think I will drink lemon water particularly. Well, Jody, it's your contribution. That's how I look at it. Your contribution to December is looking after me. And I really do appreciate the way you do that. I have another viewer that has been really good about helping me when I do December. I don't know if any of you remember Cez, C-E-Z. She comes into the chat every now and then. But she does an awesome job. I can delegate anything to her, and she will just pick it up and run with it. I'll just say, okay, you know the answer to that one, just handle it. It's interesting that Amel's been watching since they had the twins. Beth's been watching before they had the twins, yes, before they even got married. Yeah, were you there for the engagement, Beth? That was a very tough week for me, that engagement week, I want to tell you. I cannot tell you how many times Benji called me that week. I go, please. I'd literally be going, oh my gosh, not again. But I listened. He was so scared he was going to do it wrong. It was so cute. Hi, Sakura. How are you doing? Sakura, you just missed the broadcast, but it's all about getting ready and planning for Christmas. So we had lots of great ideas for presents. We had how to do Christmas on a budget, really a very strict budget. So I really recommend, if you're a little short of money this year, make sure you listen to it. Yeah, and you were there when they just had Juliana. Yeah, I actually, one of the greatest things, Nyasha, is I was down there last week, and Juliana is now old enough, and I literally thanked her face to face for being the reason why I gave up smoking. And it was amazing. What time? For me, it is just coming up to 9 o'clock in the evening. Judy's mum is a delight. Yeah, Nini. Well, you know something, Sakura, it had been so long since I was down there, and I literally, it was like 22 hours from from leaving my house and coming back again. So I went down, I had the late afternoon and the evening with them. I had breakfast with them, and then I was gone. So, I didn't have time to do anything, but I appreciate what you're saying. Yeah. I was so glad to spend time with them as well, I have to tell you. And, it's because December will be not where we've had it before, it's going to make it a little different. We won't be able to do things quite the same way, but we'll talk about that. I just want Benji and Judy to announce it properly before I start talking about it. It is on the 14th, the night of the 14th, my time, which is Pacific time. I want to tell you, Nyasha, the children were so cute with their Halloween costumes, weren't they? Yeah, patient like a circle, that's right. And I wonder if Auntie Mel realizes just how many people talk about that now. You want to help out, that's great. And, we love it that everybody wants to help out. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's just going to be very... I'll wait until they've announced it all. Okay. It'll be on the night of the 14th, my time. So that would make it the 15th for you, right? All right. So we start, just so that you know, Beth, we start at 3 o'clock and we do nonstop for 24 hours. Yes, from 3 o'clock on the 14th, and we stop at 3 o'clock on the 14th. And I think Benji and I are probably the only ones that know. We're part of the No Sleep Club. Some people do a couple of hours and then they go away and then come back later. There are a couple of us that are part of the No Sleep Club. We just do the whole 24 hours. You didn't sleep last year either. Well, Sakura, I know you better this year, so I will appreciate that a whole lot more. But I'm going to actually go down there the 13th, so I've got a good night's sleep down there before we start on the 14th. I don't want to travel and do it. Yeah, Jody's a proud member of the No Sleep Club as well. Yeah, you did so well last year, Jody. So, I look at it and I go, you will make me coffee. But, it is really amazing. I want to go back to the food thing, how careful I have to be, because it happened to me the one year where Judy decided to suddenly start cooking behind me, and she literally cracked open, I think it was 6 cloves of garlic right behind me. And normally the smell of garlic doesn't do it to me, but 6 cloves of garlic being fried right behind my head, I had to leave the house and go back to the hotel because it totally overwhelmed me. Who is the guest of the year? I can't tell you that yet. That's not for me to tell you. It's for them to tell you. So there are all sorts of things I'd love to tell you because I know, but until they release it, I'm not going to discuss it. Makes sense? And when are they going to tell you? When they choose to. I'm just leaving it up to them. It's their thing. So, you know, I think the whole December thing is just about, it's a bit like Christmas, right? You just need to know it's not about the special guests. It's not about all the rest of it. It's about, we like to do good things for people. And we work very hard at doing that. And I think that to me is what it's all about. It's not about, you know, whether we've done it for different organizations, Nyasha. You know, we did Convoy of Hope for 3 years, 3 or 4, I think. You know, we've done sex slavery, what do you call it? Sex trafficking. We've done March of Dimes. You know, we've had all sorts of different people that have benefited from it. So to me, again, it's not really about that either. It's about, okay, this is who they picked to support this year, and let's do the best we can for them. And, you know, it's really important that you understand that. Yeah, I want to tell you, I assure you that every year we've twittered to Ellen, and you know that's happened every year. I can assure you, it's not just 1 year. And 1 year we will get there. You know, we will actually get some recognition. Who knows? Maybe it'll be this year, because we actually want to be, you know, on the Ellen show so that we can do that. Anyway, I need to go. So hopefully this has given you some ideas to get ready for Christmas. And if you would like me to do more around the Christmas stuff, please comment in the comments below. For those of you watching on the replay, I would love us to keep coming up with bright ideas. I would also love it if you would tell me, you know, what is it you're struggling with this year? You know, for example, you know, Lizzie was on earlier. How do you do this without any money? All right, Amel, I need you to know something. The next broadcast is on Sunday at 3:30 Pacific time. You can always go to DearMamaSal.com, and there is a tab at the top. Right, that's my website. And there's a tab at the top, Amel, and it actually says our broadcast. And if you click on there, it'll always tell you if ever you forget when the broadcasts are. Well, I hope it's been of value to some of you. And I certainly want to make sure that I keep on track. I want to hold myself accountable as well. I have a lot going on in my life, as you know, but I want to make sure I do Christmas. Yes, have a look at it so you will always feel comfortable, because you'll know I can always go there and find out when the next broadcast is. The other thing I would recommend for you, Amel, is to see what time it is where I am and then work out what time that is where you are. What time is it with you now? You must be 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yikes, must be about 6 in the morning. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just kidding. And I got there at the same time as you wrote it, 6 in the morning. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so yeah, this is good. All right, so what I'm going to do is give you all a big hug. We can do this, and let's be accountable. Let's help one another, make it through Christmas and the time of year. Amel, it doesn't matter whether you're Muslim or not. We're talking about the stress of a celebration, and you've got your own, and I know that. So this is about how do we prepare for a big celebration without stressing out too much. And that's the lesson that I want us all to work on. And I want us all, if you wouldn't mind, to be honest about where you're stressing out. All right? Because if we hear where everybody's stressing out, we hopefully will learn for ourselves and also be able to help other people. So this is Dear Mama Sal saying, please, please, please remember to look after one another, which is what we do here. We're a big extended family. But most of all, remember to look after yourselves. So please be careful. This is, for some people, a very stressful time of the year. And for me, I've got this and December going on at the same time. So never mind. We'll make a plan. Jody will look after me, as you all know. That's her job. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, you will all look after me because that's what you do. And I love you for it. We will see you on Sunday. For those of you who can do that, it will be at 3:30 Pacific time. And for the rest of you, I'll see you when you next get here. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, thanks for being here. Bye-bye for now.